Hey everyone, welcome to Talk Sustain to Me. Today I'm going to share about the GARP SCR exam. If you want to learn more about the SCR exam, or if you want to know whether it's worth taking, or you are planning to take it and are looking for some study tips, I hope this video will be helpful for you. This episode is divided into 3 sections: what, why, and how. In the first section, I'm going to talk about what is GARP, what's the SCR exam, what's the format, the curriculum, and the application process of the exam. In other words, the first section will cover the basic information and the details of the SCR exam. And then in the second section, it's about why. Why should we take or not take the exam? I'll explain the reasons why I decided to sit for the exam and why it's helpful for me. Finally, in the third section, I'm going to share how to pass the exam. I'll share some study tips and hopefully they will be helpful for you if you are going to take it. Now let's begin. First of all, what is GARP? GARP is a leading professional association for risk managers. It's dedicated to the advancement of the professions for education, research, and the promotion of best practices. GARP is the organizer of the SCR certificate program. Now let's talk about what's SCR. The SCR certificate stands for Sustainability and Climate Risk Certificate. The SCR certificate will help you learn more about strategies for improving climate risk mitigation, how to tackle today's physical and transition risk, the economic impacts of climate change, and how to lead firms to invest sustainably and create meaningful change. In terms of the format of the exam, it has 80 multiple choice questions and must be completed in 3 hours. Candidates who pass the exam will receive an electronic certificate of completion and a digital badge that they can share on LinkedIn. In terms of applying for the exam, you'll firstly pay and register for it, then you can schedule your exam in the online portal. Once you register for the exam, you'll have access to the SCR book and other study materials for your preparation. There are 2 exam windows, one in April and one in October. For the April one, the registration usually starts on the 1st of December. As for the October exam window, the registration usually opens on the 1st of May. The exam covers 8 chapters. Chapter 1 is about foundation of climate change. You'll learn about topics like energy balance, greenhouse effect, how humans are changing the climate, what are shared socioeconomic pathways, the impacts of modern climate change, adaptation, mitigation, geoengineering, and mitigation targets. Chapter 2 is about sustainability. It covers the introduction to sustainability, ESG, and climate risk. It also covers sustainable development goals, which is the SDGs, sustainability at corporations and financial institutions, and some of the private sector sustainability frameworks and coalitions. Chapter 3 is about climate change risk. It covers the different types of climate risk, including physical risk and transition risk. It also covers topics on stranded human capital and just transition. Chapter 4 is about sustainability and climate policy, culture, and governance. It covers topics like international sustainability and climate policies, climate risk and financial policy, climate risk and financial supervision, and private sector sustainability. Chapter 5 is about green and sustainable finance. It covers some trends and flows in the sustainable and climate finance, sustainable and green financial products and instruments, as well as ESG investing and taxonomies. Chapter 6 is a more specific section on climate risk measurement and management. It covers topics like micro and macro level of climate risk transmission, systemic risk and financial stability, data and analysis of climate risk measurement, climate risk within ERM, which is the enterprise risk management. As for Chapter 7, it's a more in-depth and challenging section on climate models and scenario analysis. It covers topics like global reference scenarios, scenario parameters, and applications to physical and transition risk, and some use cases in the corporate and the financial and investment sector. Finally, Chapter 8 is about net zero. Topics include science behind net zero and the 1.5 degrees Celsius target, the implications of net zero for countries, subnational governments, and the private sector. It also covers some topics about transition plans, interim targets, and pathways, and the use of metrics. Well, after sharing so many details on the curriculum, now I'm going to share why I decided to take the exam. The first reason is that I want to learn more about sustainability and climate risk. I thought taking this exam would be helpful for my own learning, and it could deepen my knowledge in the sustainability field. Since sustainability is a really broad topic, and this exam is so unique that it focuses on sustainability from a risk management lens, I find it really interesting and helpful. So if you do not have a sustainability background but you want to find a sustainability job, I would say this certificate program will be helpful for you as it teaches you the basic concepts of sustainability and also some more technical knowledge of sustainability risk management. So I believe this will be helpful for you to get a job in this field if you do not have a sustainability background. But then I'm going to share a few points that you may consider before taking the exam. First, the exam requires quite a lot of reading and time for preparation. There's quite a lot of study materials. Other than the SCR book, there are also some compulsory online readings like the TCFD and the PRI reports. In short, if you want to pass the exam, make sure you have sufficient time for preparation and reading. Second, the exam fee is quite expensive. The cost of the exam is different for non-members, members, and certified FRM or ERP members. My recommendation would be to register for the exam earlier so you can pay at the early bird price, which is less expensive. Third, the curriculum of the exam can change. Since the field of sustainability and ESG is constantly changing, there are always new trends, policies, regulations, and new solutions. So the curriculum can change a lot in just a year, and there could be regular updates or amendments on the curriculum. So the earlier you take the exam, it could mean that you will have to study less, or in other words, the later you take the exam, the more you'll study. Finally, in the last session, I'm going to share some study tips on how to pass the exam. My study flow was a 3-step process: study plan, take notes, and mock exam. The first step was to create a study plan. At that time, my plan was to study 1 chapter in 1 week. Since there were 8 chapters in total, I reserved 8 weeks for studying each chapter and allowed 2 weeks for a final revision. The second step was to take notes while you read the SCR book and the compulsory readings. Since there was a lot of information in each chapter, what I did was to take notes of the key ideas. The last step was to try the mock exam and test my understanding. After reading each chapter, I would challenge myself by taking some quizzes and the mock exam questions to test my understanding. Those quizzes and mock exam questions will be provided once you register for the exam. And for questions that I couldn't get the right answer, what I did was revisit my notes and study the concepts again until I got the right answer. In this video, I've addressed 3 questions about the SCR exam. What is it, why taking it, and how to pass it. If you find this video helpful, please hit like and subscribe. Thank you for watching, stay tuned, see you in the next video.